Good evening, everyone. We're continuing with 4 minutes of Mishlei. We're up to Perek Chaf Hey, chapter 25. And I want to focus on Pasuk Yud Aleph. But before Pasuk Yud Aleph, just want to note that in this Perek, we begin the final section, the third sefer of Mishlei. As the beginning of the Perek begins, that Gam Eila Mishlei Shlomo, and it gives this heading. This is also the Mishalim, the parables of Shlomo. The Pasuk Yud Aleph is a very interesting but cryptic Pasuk. Tapuche Zahav b'maskios kosef davur al ofnav. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold set in lattices of silver. I'm holding in my hands a sefer written by my Rebbe, Rav Aaron Lopiansky. It's called Golden Apples, and it has that Pasuk in English on the front. Golden apples in silver casings, so are words aptly said. Why does it have this on the front cover of this beautiful sefer? Because both the Rambam in Mor Nevuchim and the Vilna Gaon, the Gra, interpret this pasuk to mean similar things. They say that the Torah is comprised of many different levels of understanding. And it used to be, I guess, maybe there's some jewelers in the crowd. Michael Bernstein's around. I don't know. He didn't pay me for that one. But apparently in ancient times, when they would sell jewelry, they would keep it in these silver casings or lattices or some sort of way to hold it. And if you looked at it from a distance, both the Rambam in his Hakdama to Mor Nevuchim and the Gra say, if you looked at it from a distance, all you would see was the silver external lattice. If you get closer and closer, you'd be able to see inside the golden apples. So the Rambam says this is the same thing when it comes to Agadata or Mishalim of our Nevi'im, the parables or the phrases of our Chachamim that if we look at them from a distance, okay, they seem to be, maybe sometimes we don't understand them, or maybe they seem like inspirational words, but they're not really so clear. But he says if you get close and you really penetrate deeply, you could get to those golden apples. So the question, which I think very interesting, Rav Aaron Lopiansky, who's really very well known in this realm of machshava and agadata, so he talks a little bit about his approach here, and he says, how do you get to those golden apples? He says, sometimes people, we can just project our raw feelings and intuitions onto the Torah and expect to arrive at truths. Unfortunately, the results of this are usually more akin to the interpretation of a Rorschach ink blot test. It says a lot about the interpreter and very little about the blot. So where do we look for hints of the golden apples secreted away behind those silver casings? So he says this is what Torah Shabbal Peh is about, and learning from our teachers. And he quotes a few of his teachers. He began on this path with Rav Yitzchak Hutner Zatzal, and then Mori Varabi, his Rebbe, Rav Moshe Shapiro. And he gave 4 basic principles, which are all in sort of the school of, maybe we could call it the school of the Maharal, even though the Maharal has been long gone, but his mahalach, his approach, was taken up by some of these masters of machshava. So he has 4 approaches. We'll just share these 4. Number 1, Chazal dealing with Agada are every bit as serious as their dealings with halacha. It's all in Shas. I think I saw in a question and answer with Rav Avigdor Miller. He said it's 1 out of 7 of seventh of Shas. 1/7 of Shas is Agadata. So he was very upset that they're skipping the Agadatas of the Gemara in the Shiurim. He says you have to approach it with the same importance as a sugya. You have to understand it. You have to take it seriously. Number 2, their words are not general sweeping maxims of truth and beauty. They are excruciatingly exact and detailed mappings of the bigger principles of Torah. So every detail in an Agadata, if you're learning Daf Yomi and this person said in this, and then they were in this place where they said it. All the numbers, everything, all the details are important for us to understand what the bigger picture here is in the Agadata. They're not just, maxims that are very general. They're very exacting. Number 3, their words are indeed metaphors, but not general picturesque metaphors. Rather, they are specific, detailed, and exact truths. And number 4, the core of much of Maharal's understanding is drawn from Kabbalah, but the language in which it is cast is the language of the rational philosophers. That's a point that when you're understanding the Maharal, specifically, he's drawing from Kabbalistic ideas, but in a terminology that is more understandable. So what can we take away from this? Just a very bottom line takeaway. Rabbi Beryl Gershenfeld, who's in the same school of Machshava, he gives us actually a case test of this type of approach. And he asks the question, why did we use in this mashal the gold and silver in the parable? Why not just use gold and something seemingly worthless? Why are we comparing gold and silver? So he explains that the gold and silver are not incidental. Silver provides man with a currency of exchange through which he can procure his daily needs. Gold is too valuable to employ for his daily transactions. It defines value and is used only for major investments. Similarly, the external understanding of Agarata is like silver. It inspires man, enabling him to meet his basic need for initial understanding. The deeper meaning, like gold, gives value to man's existence. So in this way, we transform our understanding of Agarata. It's not just practical, nice, inspiring advice that's useful, but rather if we can look beyond the surface and see that Agarata is much more than that, we can then appreciate and get a sense of the golden apples, the apples that shape and inform our mission in this world, as gold is such, it gives us that greater sense of value.